Hey, what's up guys? So in this video I want to talk about one of the worst radar detectors that I've ever tested. The performance is awful, the filtering is awful. It's a really inexpensive detector, so we're not really expecting much. I mean, you can go online and buy it shipped from China for like 10 to 12 bucks. You can go on Alibaba and actually people will buy them less in bulk and then turn around and resell them on Amazon. Which, of course, there's nothing inherently wrong with doing that, but the issue is, well, number one, the detector is just terrible, and number two, in order to try and help sell it, there's a lot of fake 5-star reviews online talking about how great it is, and so what happens is people wind up actually getting misled and then scammed out of their money by buying what's basically garbage. Is this radar detector right here. It's being sold under many different names. I actually bought a couple of them. Sometimes they come in different colors, or there's little cosmetic changes, like this one doesn't have any text, and this one does have text and a Batman logo for some reason. So what I've actually done is I've gone onto Amazon and I've posted more accurate reviews of the radar detector with a lot of helpful information and photos and videos and all that kind of stuff to give people, well, a better perspective of what the detector is actually like, to try to kind of offset the fake reviews. So if you guys could actually help me out and help out everybody else who's looking to buy a radar detector, I posted links in the video description to a number of the different reviews that I've posted on there for these different listings. If you can go and actually just click and mark the reviews as helpful, if you find them helpful, that'll help boost the rankings so that they pop up at the top. People will be more likely to see them, especially if they don't take the time to do a little bit of research and find this video. And then that way it'll help kind of help other people avoid getting scammed out of their money and wasting money on what's basically garbage. So those links will be down in the video description for you guys. But in any event, let's go ahead and start talking about this radar detector. Now, it's basically garbage, is what it comes down to. Let's go ahead and power it on real quick so you guys can see that.
The GPS starts. Please fasten your safety belt. City mode.
All right, so we're up and running. I guess one positive thing is it is able to detect police radar guns. I've got a Stalker 2 here. Let's go ahead and transmit real quick.
Airspeed detecting signaling friend, KA band.
So you can see it's detecting KA band. That's pretty cool. As far as the performance, the range is, well, terrible. They tested it in Texas, and it was a bottom-of-the-barrel performer, which isn't really surprising when you're comparing it to detectors which cost hundreds of dollars, but the performance was actually pretty abysmal. Now, the big issue with this detector is not so much the performance, but really the filtering. This detector actually falses so much that it's basically unusable. I've never seen a radar detector that has this many false alerts. In short, you can be driving down the road, and it's just falsing constantly to K-band.
Airspeed detecting signaling friend, K band. Airspeed detecting signaling friend, K band. Airspeed detecting signaling friend, K band. Airspeed detecting signaling friend, K band.
It falses so much that you're basically just going to want to throw the radar detector out the window or just send it back to Amazon, which is actually what I'm going to wind up doing after this video. Now, it's bizarre. The thing falses to anything and everything. It does have a city mode, you know, as opposed to highway mode.
Highway mode, city mode.
Which, according to the manual, which is a little tough to read, is supposed to do some sort of signal analysis to help filter out and eliminate false alerts. It's terrible. Driving around town, this thing falses constantly. One fun tidbit is I actually find that it falses in areas where there's no radar at all, meaning I can be sitting in an empty parking lot.
Airspeed detecting signaling friend, K band.
I can be driving down a road where I know for a fact that there's no radar in use, and this thing is just false alerting to radar.
Airspeed detecting signaling friend, K band. Airspeed detecting signaling friend, K band.
The only explanation I can think of why that is the case is, well, this detector is actually a leaky radar detector. People are reporting that if they're, you know, driving around with a friend and one person has this radar detector and somebody else has another radar detector in their car, this will actually cause other radar detectors nearby to false alert. And my guess is this thing is actually falsing to its own emission, so it's falsing to itself. So that's kind of my best guess as far as what's going on. But in short, the filtering is terrible. Another bizarre thing is there's not even a mute button in the detector, so when it is going off, there's no way of silencing the detector. Your only option is to basically just, well, power it off. That's it. Now, as far as any other filtering capabilities, there is really no other K-band filtering. I mean, there's a menu button here, but it doesn't actually take you into any menu. All that'll do is let you switch languages between English, Russian, and Chinese. I'm not sure if that's Mandarin or Cantonese. I'm sure one of you guys will know, so just let me know down in the comment area.
The GPS starts. Please fasten your safety belt.
So kind of funny that you can switch between different languages. The only, well, I guess one of the surprisingly useful things about that is the fact that when this thing is false alerting to K-band, there is no audio ramp up or anything to tell you if the signal's getting stronger or weaker. So you can tell if, you're getting closer to the source or farther away. You don't get that information. It's just kind of talking to you over and over and over. Now what's nice is if you switch it into Russian, at least the chattering is shorter in duration, so you're getting less of that going on. So the detector's a little bit more bearable if you switch it into Russian. So fun fact there. Now, because there is no menu, there is no ability to maybe disable particular bands, like just X-band and K-band, say, to cut down on all those annoying false alerts, which it can't filter out otherwise. And let's say you wanted maybe just a super cheap radar detector for Ka-band only. You don't get that. You get a radar detector that's cheap, has terrible performance, and horrible filtering to the point of being unusable. But that's not it. There's way more fun stuff here too. So let's take a look next. Instead of radar, let's take a look at laser. You can see right here in red text, it says laser, right? Well, we've got a police laser gun here. It's a Custom Pro Laser 3. Let's go ahead and shoot the radar detector and see what happens. As you can see, no alert at all from the radar detector. Now, if you take a look at the backside of the radar detector, there's two round lenses right here, which typically is where you'll see the laser detectors are actually installed back behind here. If you look at the top, that's the rear laser sensor. It's a piece of plastic that actually goes down and carries a laser signal down into the laser sensor, which is behind this dot. Now, I opened up the radar detector. It turns out that there actually is no laser detection hardware behind these two little plastic circles there. In fact, there is no laser detection, which is why when you shoot it with laser, it doesn't alert at all. And it's funny, I mean, this little plastic thing goes to nothing. There's nothing there, which is very different than other radar detectors that actually do have laser detection capability built in. They advertise GPS capabilities. Even when you start up the detector, it says that it has GPS. There is no GPS, so the feature to kind of give you the speed-based filtering doesn't actually exist. The antenna, it was kind of funny when I opened it up. The antenna was actually skewed at an angle. It wasn't even aligned properly, so that was kind of something bizarre that I saw when I opened it. They advertise VG2 immunity. The VG2 is an ancient radar detector used by police officers in areas where radar detectors are illegal. I tested it with my VG2. This is wildly detectable by the VG2.
The GPS starts. Please fasten your safety belt. City mode.
I tried turning the sensitivity of the VG2 down all the way and just moved to the opposite side of my living room, maybe 20 feet away or so, and the VG2 was going off full tilt. So this is definitely not a stealth RDD immune radar detector, even though they do advertise that on their website. And as far as Spectre immunity, if they can't even be immune to the VG2, obviously it's going to be very detectable by the Spectre as well. So no, it doesn't have GPS. No, it doesn't detect laser. No, it is not VG2 immune. So all sorts of weird stuff going on there, As far as the mount, it doesn't actually come with a windshield mount with suction cups to install onto your windshield. Instead, it comes with this rubber pad like this, which feels kind of wet. It actually has the texture of like wet snot or something. And the idea is you just put the pad on your dash and then you place the radar detector on the pad itself. I found that it does a reasonably good job of at least keeping the detector on your dash, but because it's not very secure, I'm finding when I'm driving down the road, the radar detector will actually start to fall over sideways. On-ramps on highways are a good example of when I see this happening. but it doesn't actually have to be at speed. I've actually seen this happening when I'm, the light turns green and I'm turning through an intersection. Even at low speeds, the radar detector will just kind of fall over, which is something kind of amusing. It's definitely not a stable mount. Most dashes are also kind of sloped up like this, so your radar detector is going to be aiming up at the sky. It's not going to be able to even be pointed straight, but I guess that wouldn't make a big difference considering how bad the performance is anyway, Something else that was kind of funny is if you take a look at the radar detector, online they make a big deal about how it's FCC approved. Sometimes the color, they'll even call it FCC blue. The box that it comes in, they say that it's FCC approved, so they're making a really big deal about this whole FCC thing. If you take a look at the radar detector, however, on the back side, there actually is no indication of FCC approval. Normally with radar detectors, I'll show you here with my unit in R3, on the back side, it has an FCC ID right there. It's got the sticker, from the FCC basically saying, hey, we've tested and approved this detector. It's available for sale. And in order for any sort of electronics to be sold in the US, they have to undergo FCC certification to ensure that they're not causing problems for other electronics in the area. Now, the only time before that I've seen something that doesn't have the FCC approval is when I'm testing like prototype radar detectors. Like here's an example. It was a Redenso XP. Sometimes manufacturers will send me, pre-production hardware, beta units, things like that. If you take a look at the back of this unit, you'll see it does not have an FCC sticker. This was actually a pilot production sample. It was an early Redenso XP with production hardware. They had a couple units while they were still undergoing the FCC certification. And so, we were doing some beta testing and whatnot. This detector cannot be sold in the US. It was a beta unit. And then all the ones that are available for sale have gone through the FCC certification and have the sticker. In any event, this detector doesn't have that, and they're making a really big deal about that on Amazon. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they got in trouble about it or something, and they're just trying to say that, yes, we've been approved, even though it's not. So that's kind of something interesting that I saw taking a look at this radar detector. So technically, this shouldn't even be allowed to be available for sale in the US, but whatever, In short, the detector itself is garbage. The performance sucks. The filtering sucks. It's missing some features that it advertises it has, such as GPS, VG2 immunity, which doesn't actually matter, but they advertise it. Laser detection, they advertise that. That doesn't have that either. So it's kind of bizarre. It's a cheap radar detector. It's an awful radar detector, and it's kind of being sold by people posting fake reviews on Amazon. And so what I'm really hoping this video review does is help you guys avoid getting scammed if you're looking for buying a cheap radar detector like this. And well, if you're not, hopefully that was kind of entertaining or something, to see kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, staying away from the, awesome radar detectors and taking a look at the bottom of the barrel stuff. Just kind of a fun look at what these radar detectors are like. So anyways, hope you guys found this interesting. Hope you found this helpful. Again, links in the video description to the Amazon reviews that I've posted, which is basically all this sort of stuff and just making it available for others. And again, if you want this to be something that can help others avoid getting scammed, just click the helpful button on those different reviews and it'll help bump them up to the top. And you guys can, help me help out other people too. So awesome. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.